Right, so this is the map that I just made a video about that Alice got me, and I should have realised. I didn't realise. Well, it didn't fully click that it says Ag Bridge, not just Ag Brig. I thought because someone had shown me the birth certificate, it says Ag Brig on it, right? I had Ag Brig in the brain. So when I was looking at this map, which somebody had given me, but it's a jigsaw puzzle map. It's like a novelty map, right? I think it's one of the speed maps. It did actually say Ag Bridge there, definitely with Bridge, but because it's like a bit of it's a jigsaw map and it's got a load of lines across it, and when I glanced at it, I just thought it said Ag Brig, because that's what it's worded for. When I see it clearly on here, it is Ag Bridge, at the bridge, and really there doesn't need to be any bridges there because we haven't got any really deep, thick, wide rivers. So at the bridge, there is no major bridge. So, but it's Brig. But we know the town now as Brig House. I think Hartshead might have some significance as well for that Warriors Mound, But the main thing is this, right? So neither of them draw, right? Here's Huddersfield, right? Now, I don't know if this is a later version of, I don't know if these are both speed maps or if one's based on the other. It's a very similar style indeed, but there are some things that are different, like the fences are drawn slightly different around the private estates. Now, you would think that if there's going to be anything like Castle Hill, it would be Armonbury, but it's not, right? Now, do we have anything at Artshead there? No. Right? What about at Meltham? Well, it doesn't say Meltham at all. It actually has this it looks like Marshden to me, or Marthden, but that F usually is an F. So it's actually Marshden. So it's actually meant to be the marshes. And a den, having a den. Well, what is a den? Well, it's a den. It's like you build a den or you live in a den. And it's actually chap, not cop. That's where they've got the Cop Hill, but it's chap. Right? So we ain't actually got any structures on here until look at he's got this consistent style of drawing hills, right? Now he's got a cross on the top of there. I don't know what that actually refers to, the Leyden cross, right? But what interests me is when we get to here, which I've already pointed out in the other video, he draws a very, very nice stylistic feature, and I think he's drawn it different to how he's drawn the others, right? And I think that is like a standalone long barrow shape, right? Okay. Now, what on this other map is there? Just let me look a second. Is here, right? Right in the middle there. What I've zoomed right in on. Right? That is. Now, again, he's drawn a little mound or a little hill thing, right? Kind of stand alone. But he doesn't draw that many of those at all on there, right? But he's put it there, and it's actually the jigsaw puzzle piece that's, if you notice the jigsaw puzzle pieces, that's make it look like it's got a little flat top on it. But I don't think he drew that, right? We could do with checking if there is actually something in between. I know that road because it goes from Barnsley to Wakefield, and I don't think that I know anything on that road unless there's a smaller monument or something on there. Right? Not Sandal Castle for certain, because that were only dug up not that long ago. Now, what we pointed out in other videos about this map is, right, what is that, with very, 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 very steep sides, but put at Hartshead, where Robin Hood's grave is. But that ain't Robin Hood's grave. Now, what has very, 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 very steep sides if you're a cartographer and travelled around England and you even know about things like Old Oswestry Hill Fort, right, which is 23 metres high, according to the data, right? If the mobile phone app's correct, 40 metres high is very, very steep for something that has got as much width as Old Oswestry Hill Fort. Now, that is steep, right? Although saying that, Dunelm is 45 metres, and Castle Hill's right up on the top of a thing as well. Why would you draw something in the wrong place and not draw it at Armonbury, or not draw it at Kirkheaton? Why would you draw it at Artshead, right? And why is there this strange little lone thing there that's at the other side of Emily? What's that? Is put that in the same place, but that is if I ever was going to draw Dunelm, right, Meltham Cop on a map, I would draw it like that, the exact style and shape of that ice is done there. But yet, and here we've got Marston, which is also on here. Marston, Saddleworth, Slough, but where is Marsden? Now the thing is, shouldn't Marsden be listed there? Not even as far out as Saddleworth. So the thing is, Marsden sounds like Marston, but also Meltham, but Meltham doesn't really sound Meltham, not like Marston. But Marsden is meant to be Morden, right? And more is the first bit of more is the first part of the Celtic word for ride, right? Saddle's riding. Why aren't these people drawing things on? So it didn't click that was Agbridge. It is actually Agbridge. So it's not like Agbrig, Agbridge. We don't even have Brighouse established according to this. We've got Hart's Head. But I think it must be a different artist because he draws hills differently. And the perimeters around these estates are different. Now, that's that. It makes you wonder about some of the names further afield, doesn't it? You know, like I'm trying to think. Anyway, he's got this thing here, but he's put it at Artshead, right? Now, here's a map that's got it drawn properly the correct shape with the forest around it. We've got some writing on it that we can't quite make out, but it looks. We've got Upper Helm, right? Yet Helm is a village in Meltham, which is next to Dunelm, right? Upper Helm, which is the other hill that we're concerned about, right? Now he draws this correct shape, right? Which is, it is also like a heart. You know, when you've got like a heart, the organ isn't like the cartoon character of the heart, like the cartoon heart. It's actually more like that, right? And then on this map, he actually bangs a letter D straight over the top of where it is, right? Which then we're wanting to know why George Haig, the builder, banged a letter D on top of it, right? To match that map. So instantly we think this Alex Hogg map here, someone's having a bit of a joke with us. Something's not going on. Right. Now here we've actually got it drawn on there, acknowledged as a physical feature, but it's a round physical feature, right? And then we've put Kirkheaton, he says sometimes wrote Turkheaton, which I don't know if that's a joke. This is the Jeffreys map, right? Put Dives House, but Dives House was just like a farmhouse, and Dives was the name of the guy who had the farmhouse, right? we've got no sign of anything to do with Waterloo at this stage. It's Dalton. Don't know if you can think of Dolmens. We've got it, but he doesn't. Why doesn't he draw it in the actual shape that it's meant to be? He acknowledges it, and he also acknowledges Camber-Dunham as well, Castle Hill. And he draws a shape for Meltham Cut, but he doesn't. I don't think that he draws it the proper shape. So Jeffries is the only person that acknowledges them in the actual places that they are at. Jeffries, he's the most accurate representation. I still think that looks like house. I think it looks like something house. Looks almost like it could be called Bridge House or something. But there's all these allotments down the side. I don't know what was going on with that. So, these map makers are doing something unusual. Now, the thing is, right, when you've got people who are travelling about, particularly the religious classes and the priest classes and things like that, if people are changing names around and things like that, it's worth looking at other names of other places, at least in the same county. And remember, Elmet was a very extensive area of West Yorkshire, and Agbrigg, right? The two different names, in fact. Elmet was the name after the Romans left when it was the Saxon time, but we ended up with Agbrigg. Now, are there any names that might give us information as to anything that might have happened or something, right? So we've all got these like Monk Freiston and names like that. Well, one thing that comes to mind is Sherburn, right? Because we've got Sherburn in Elmet, right? Sherburn in Elmet, right? I'm looking for places not too far away, right? Not a million miles away. I'm looking for places at least somewhere in Yorkshire, whether I know we've got East Riding and West Riding of Yorkshire, and we know that York's up there because that's where they ended up building Eberackham, the big city, by a big wide river. They didn't actually build it here. We're lucky they didn't build Eberackham here, right? I'm looking for names that have the term either Agbrigg or a bridge or helmet, helm, elm, Elmet, because we've got Upper Helm, Lower Helm, and Helm in Meltham by these sites. One place is Sherburn in Elmet, right? In a helmet. And it also mentions burning, right? In share, which means part of both or something, right? Now, if our hill, like Heart's Head or something to do with a head and a heart shape, or even a helmet, a Celtic helmet, right, or a helm, right? We also know that Castle Hill apparently has got evidence of extensive burning. It got burned at some point. At what point, we don't know for sure. The archaeologist claims 150 BC. It could have been the Romans who attacked it, right? That's what he's claiming. It got burned. So we know that something happened when it got burned. It might have been something to do with a hill fort in Elmet, right? So that name, it's not impossible that wasn't somehow remembered and put into a place name, because how else can you remember things that happen to places if people are changing names around and stuff, right? I think it's worth considering there could have been information stored in the founding of that place. Maybe even, right? What happens if somewhere got attacked and people ran away and moved away and then they established a place? If you lived somewhere and if it got burned or attacked and you had to run away or hide somewhere and take shelter and you moved away, right? But you didn't have to move too far away, and you had a name, wanted to have a name, but you didn't want to make it too obvious, but like a little bit sort of like gesturing, you could set up a place called Sherburn and Elmet, right? If you wanted to try and, So we need to be looking on those older maps to see what how Sherburn was spelled earlier, like on those old maps. But I haven't got that part of it because I've only been getting the maps for Huddersfield. So we could do with looking at see how Sherburn was spelled. Here we've got Barwick in helmet. Well, a bar is an elongation. A bar is a pole. And when we have at bridge, the Brigantes is a pier, pole, mast or projection. Well, we've got a bar in helmet here. Bar in an helmet. A bar is the form of a bridge. And it's to do with helmet. Barwick in helmet. It's almost like saying that the something that's long near where helmet is. So, you see, when people leave a place and spread out, they take stories with them. What we're going to call this new village we founded that we've had to move to because, got attacked. They might have moved to Ireland. They might have moved to Wales. They might have been pushed into Wales. They might have been on Anglesey getting attacked by Romans, burning everyone and putting their hands up to the skies, praying to the gods or whatever they were doing in that freaking Gallic Wars account, right? But if some of them didn't go too far away, it's not out of the question to think that they might have, so that's Sherburn in helmet, Barwick in helmet, So I think it's relevant. So there's Barwick in helmet, Sherburn in helmet, and then we've got Eberacombe here, York, which was established. Eberacombe was established when the Romans came over, or else it wouldn't even be there, right? Now, it could be that that's when these villages were established. Sherburn in helmet, Why didn't the Romans stop them calling it that? Why didn't the Romans stop them from calling it Barwick in helmet? Well, we don't know what the original name was, It's only a little village, They can't stop people, if there's loads of different people going all over the place, they can't control too much what villages are called. So it's worth looking at these places. But those looking for things to do with helmet, or bridge, You see, the Romans claimed that the Brigantes' headquarters was further up North Yorkshire, somewhere, I can't remember if it's Ripon or Boroughbridge or Beedale, but I've been to that site where I once went there to that site that I read the website where it actually was, and I actually went there, and there's this really, really, really wide earthworks around the place, and it's not very big earthworks. I don't think it's very significant earthworks. Some even say that it was a Roman camp. But I went there and I looked at the landscape, and I just don't think from going to Maiden Castle, from going to a lot of history, from going to a lot of sites around the country, right? I don't think that place, I've actually been there and looked at those earthworks, and it's not what I would ever imagine. If they say the Brigantes were the biggest tribe, right, out of all the tribes in this country, the largest tribe, and if they had a headquarters, and if it was anything to do with that place where I went to when I was in North Yorkshire, if I went to the right place, because the internet was giving a lot of ridiculous information at that point, and not even getting half of the information that you can find now on Facebook, right? I don't think that was it. And I think that from travelling this island, right, from going all over this place and looking at all different landscapes and all different ancient sites, right, not been to every ancient site, but landscape-wise, I think that our area is the headquarters of the Brigantes, because where else would it be? We've got three massive, they are Hill Fort size sites, Now, we've been on that Celtic the hill fort map that professor's done. He's marked out all the hill forts. There aren't really that many hill forts really in this area. Really? Right, so it's actually saying Stanwick at Richmond. So I've been to Richmond, right? And yeah, that's the place that I went to. The archaeologists, they reckon that this Queen Katamandua's headquarters, right, was 8 miles north of Richmond, right, which is not that far from Darlington, right, 8 miles north, Stanwick, right, yeah, that's where I went to. I've been there, right, I've been to Stanwick, and I've looked at what's there, and it ain't much. If this was maybe the biggest and most influential tribe, right, on the whole island, that place at Stanwick, what I've been to, you gotta be kidding me, right? You've gotta be joking me, right? It's not Stanwick, not that far from Barnet Castle actually, but I've looked at the fortifications there. I want to get on this ancient forts map and see what else is around the area, but internet's gone off. And I've just been reading the actual Gallic Wars account now, and it's telling me a different story. When I read the story of Queen Katamandua, right, the person that had written the information on the internet, when I read the story, they wrote that the Romans tried to attack Britain, but they didn't get in, and the ships got attacked, and they had to retreat. And then they came back again, and they got that guy from Colchester, and then they were the ones who marched him in chains up to here, right? Now we get told that, in fact, the Romans came and had a conquest, and then they're reckoning that the Brigantes, they're claiming that the Brigantes tribe took side with the Romans, right? Even though when they're right up in North Yorkshire, which is hard to believe they go past everywhere else. And then they're saying that there were various other tribes fighting against them, and then they're saying that they wanted to send auxiliary troops in to help them out when there was loads of trouble. And then they were saying that this Queen Katamandua, who they claim was based near Richmond, which is quite a high way up, then they're saying that she went to Chester. Now they're saying that she went to Chester, which is actually quite near Oswestry Fort, and went to seek refuge with the Romans. But if the Romans have established Chester by this stage, right, or even Eberacum, God knows how they established these cities while there's still wars and fighting, then why wouldn't Queen Katamandua go to York? Because it's probably the most well-defended out of anywhere. In fact, York, at that stage, wasn't York more well-defended than London? I don't believe any of these stories in these accounts. And every time somebody tells you it, it seems like an updated version or a different version. Like when they're chasing them out at Anglesey. Right? The war and the fights, right, it was all about the Druids getting rid of that religion and order, right? And the Druids were meant to be in charge of the whole country, and let alone different kings and queens. It's talking about Queen Katamandua and this and that, but the Romans aren't naming any Druids really hardly, or anything that they did because it was the Druids who were combating the Romans. So it was really the Druids who were the ones under attack, and some of these tribes were taking sides with the Romans and some of them weren't. That's what was going on. Now, if there's ever a centre of Druids in this entire country, right, I'll tell you where it is. It's here. And they're saying that Brigantes were pro-Roman. Well, to be honest, why is it that the entire south coast is lined with massive, huge hill forts that are all mainly to do with, stockpiling resources, and there's loads of mining and stuff going on that the Romans wanted to get hold of other stuff. And this bottom part of the country here, with all the massive hill forts, is the biggest part of the... These have got massive hill forts with large populations. It's hard to attack here. We get told that they didn't actually attack the south coast there. They came up this way, right? And then they started, 1 minute then they're saying, oh, well, we'd already sold out to them. But they've been trading with the south coast for years, so, But as for names, I think that Sherburnian helmet and that Barwicking helmet have got there's something in that. And I seriously don't think that, I don't think this, why would you, look at the size of the place, right? There's no cars or anything, right? And then, the Brigantes headquarters is right up here. When have you been there? What's there? Nothing. Like a bit of an earthwork kind of mound thing, and it's almost like it reminds me a lot of Avebury, but a really not with the trenches, and it like a really rubbish version of Avebury sort of thing. It was just really rubbish. It cannot have been the headquarters of anything. And even the way they're talking now, they're not even sure. The archaeologists aren't even certain anyway. That online hill forts map's not working. It won't load at the moment. That one that the Oxford professor, the retired Oxford professor's done. So I can't check it for Richmond area. But what the Gallic Wars, all the Gallic Wars tell us about. It's really from the accounts of the soldiers just giving updates. It's a war report, if not partly fictional and exaggerated. They tell us about battles with the Druids. Like, for example, here they claim was a Druid stronghold. But that's a lie. It's a load of rubbish. And in fact, if it was that, why didn't they totally destroy, the Anglesey cairn, the Anglesey chambers? Which they don't tell us this political information about all the Druids, what's happening when the Romans are attacking and coming in. They're just taking place. They had some experience with them and dealing with them because that's how they took France. The Druids that were in France are part of the same order, right? They didn't get into Germany, right? Through Gaul. So they had certain informations and strategy how to deal with them. Now, they took over with force. They had a technology. The technology was they had the military tactics and the shields and the weapons to force their way in. And even though we were used to fighting in a different way. Now, you might say, well, why didn't the authority and power of the Druids? Well, they don't tell you the truth, right? The truth is that some of us were taking their sides, right? Now, they were bringing a lot of produce in, and they were bringing a lot of goods in, wines, things like that, the culture. The truth is that they sold a lot of us on their culture, and they wanted our resources. It's very similar now to why can't we beat these companies like Care? Why can't we beat Care? Why can't we beat Balfour Beatty? Why? Why can't I beat that builder who just built an house next to me, who is the soldiers of Boris Johnson, right? Because he's walking around wearing a hard hat. I can't beat him because I can't go onto Messenger and obtain 15,622 signatures, sit there all week messaging people until I've got enough signatures to get a referendum on building them houses, and we'll vote. Now, all the people who don't want houses building next to them will vote in my favour, right? Now, the only people who won't vote in our favour are the ones who never got helped, because no one helped me when I was getting my garden ruined by building and blocking things off, so, I'm not going to help you. Right, well, he's gone over to the other side. He's sold out. He doesn't like building or agree with it, but he just won't give me his vote because nobody helped him. He's got a chip on his shoulder, right? Now, all the other people why is it everyone is complaining about it? Now, the only people, right, who are these people that want them? They're moving into our area from other areas. They don't even live in West Yorkshire. Now, the people of West Yorkshire vote on what they want to build in or not, right? They might vote for Labour, but they're not wanting them built outside of their own houses. How are they doing it? Because they're not giving us the notice properly. They're not letting us know about it. They're not letting us mobilise. And they're not letting us communicate properly because they're controlling the technological device. Now, the technology is the equivalent of what the Romans had with spears, shields, and a strategy. They forced the way in and they sold us on the products. Now, they're using media and television, women in builders' hats, popping up on YouTube adverts, They're using the hard sell on doing your garden up, doing your house up, buying a house, on television, broadcasting, right? Massive strategy, right? Influencer material, and all the other companies and products who are selling you. The big sell. We got sold on the Romans' produce, beer, alcohol, lifestyle, and products, and everyone was sold out to that. So they were, they started saying, "Oh, yeah, quite, this is all right," and then a combination of force put them through. It's the exact same thing what's happening now with the influencer material and the ice creams, the donuts, all that being put on you through the broadcasting devices, this phone, TV, radio, right? That's the influence that's on you at the same time while they're making advancements using force with the technology, right? Now, how could we beat them? We could beat them by going onto Messenger and firing off loads of messages to get people to vote and sign for things to stop them from doing it. But we don't have that. That is the equivalent of the Celts riding around in chariots doing skirmisher attacks, right? When the Romans are organised and they've got the technology. They've got the hard armour, they've got the weapons, and they've got the training, and they're together, right? It's like the council are trained, the government are trained, and when you complain to the council and do this or that, they obey the commanding officer of the council, right? If you put a complaint into a council department and you're not happy with it, tough, right? They say, it's not our department, or it's another department, or they say this or that, right? You can't win. We could win if we had the technology, right? We could win if we had the technology. We haven't got the technology because they have got control of it. The generals, Mark Zuckerberg, the generals, Sir Nick Clegg, the generals of the money, right? They have got superior firepower. Balfour, Beatty, Keir, and the representative of Keir is Sir Keir Starmer. And all the things that they're doing illegal, the Crown Prosecution Service will not prosecute because they are the army and empire of who we're being attacked by, right? Now, the only way we can defeat them is to unblock Messenger. So we can send those messages and get those signature numbers going up faster than the opposition can get their money, cash pot going up from selling the houses. 10,000, 20,000, 100,000, 200,000, billions of pounds, right? If I get 100,000, 200,000, billions of signatures, I am physically going to block them from fucking doing it, right? We can't get the signatures because we don't have the technology, just like we couldn't beat them with their shields and spears and archers because they had an advanced weapons, right? That's the problem. And why didn't all the people back us up with it? Why didn't they back us up? Why didn't they back us up? They don't want houses built next to them and everything blocked off. Why aren't they backing us up? Why aren't they backing us up? Because the pressure, they've got the physical, the opposition have got the physical movement of application, Balfour Beatty, apply, go out, build, application, apply, build. There is no force that can stop them. It's very difficult, right? And everyone who won't help us is standing aside and they're rolling around in the mud and they're stuffing pies in the face and the Romans are coming over pouring wine on the table and so all the ones who take sides with them stuff in the face with grapes, which is essentially, it's Mike Graham, right? It says it's Mike Graham's Independent Republic of bollocks. Mike Graham's Republic of I am not helping you because I want to roll around in Roman wine. And Nigel Farage, come and have a pint. Come and have a Roman pint with Nigel. Stuff some grapes down your throat. Oh, it's Mike Graham laid out on a couch having grapes fed to him by Julie Hartley Brewer while Nigel Farage brews him a pint. They're sold out to the other side and they won't help us. They claim more free speech, we're helping you with free speech. Bollocks, Mike. Bollocks, Mike. bollocks, right? The person who can save us from this empire is the person who hacks into Facebook and removes that spam filter. Removes the obstruction. That spam filter will be lifted because it is not spam to defend yourself with the right to defend yourself and petition them to stop, halt, cease. So if Nick Clegg, right, does not remove that spam filter from that military unit of Facebook, right, we're being military with the military offensive of Balfour beating us, Sir Keir Starmer hacking at us with trowels and bricks. We're being bricked in, right? If Nick Clegg does not remove that spam filter from Messenger so we can get the numbers up to build the brick wall to stop them, right? Then there's something going to happen. Because this country is under attack from Boris Johnson's building army and his media empire. They're absolutely running rings around us, right? That is the weapon, is their media, their addictive foods, right? Why no one will come together and unite against them because they're wallowing in, they're rolling in the mud of the grape juice and the greasy pork pie McDonald's filth while they're literally dying of diseases. We need the obstruction removing, and the obstruction is Mark Zuckerberg and Nick Clegg. They are the leading force in obstruction. That spam filter on Facebook Messenger is the Roman shield of the opposition. It is the Roman shield of the entire planet that will not, they will not remove it because that spam filter on Messenger is the Roman shield, and that is why we're losing. That is why we're being defeated by Boris Johnson's army, because of one thing, a spam filter on Messenger, and that is Nick Clegg's knighthood, that spam filter. Now, if Zuckerberg does not remove that fucking spam filter, right, from Facebook, it's illegal. It is criminal in the law. A petition is not spam. It's not. And if you don't remove it, you need to go to prison, Mark, under arrest for treason against the planet. Because it is criminal to classify a petition as spam, Mark. It's illegal, and your lawyers will burn in hell because it's a Roman shield of crime. Attacking another country is criminal. That's what Putin's doing. Putin is attacking another country, Mark. You are attacking the world. Now, unless you remove that spam filter, Mark, right, so we can object to the war. I do not want to be walled in by Boris Johnson's Balfour beat it army, Mark, because he's annihilating us all. If we cannot stop them,